Well, the National Consumer Commission is urging consumers in possession of certain McCain sliced beans and Spar Stir Fry products to return them to the point of purchase. This after suppliers said they found small fragments of glass in the products. So for more on this, we're now joined by Thezi Mabuza from the National Consumer Commission. Ms. Mabuza, thank you for your time and good morning to you. What are you hearing from the supplier of both McCain sliced beans and Spar Stir Fry in terms of what could possibly be contained in these products?
What we have heard from them is that there would be possibilities of glass fragments. We think that from their side, it is from their manufacturing processes.
And with that being said, how are investigations going from their side as the supply in terms of how this happened, how this could be avoided, and how many products already are out at shops?
From their side is that they are busy with the investigation. It was in their processes. And then because now we only got the recall from them on the 16th, we are busy engaging with them in terms of assessing what really is the cost, and then also how much have they uplifted so far, because we were only informed, as we said, on the 15th in the afternoon. And then yesterday we started engaging with them in trying to find out their strategy. But then the reason is that because this is food and it's a high turnover product wherein people will buy it because it's frozen beans and then they will consume it as quick as possible. That's why we felt that it is essential that both them and ourselves actually make sure that we do the recall as quick as possible and then assess as we go along. And this is actually to make sure that we mitigate any harm, because I'm sure that when you would be looking at glass, you will mistaken it sometimes maybe for your frozen ice, maybe ice from the fridge or so forth. Yeah. So that's why it's essential now that we'll give in further information as we progress with the recall.
I mean, with that being said, this is not the first time we've had food being recalled. I remember Coup Beans at some point recalling, the tinned, beans, saying they have to be sent back to the shops at a certain time if they were purchased. And I'm sure there were many other products that are maybe missing at this point. So I suppose my question to you is, how important is quality, checks and routines and processes? And how long should they really take from the supplier's part before hitting the shelves?
This is actually what is worrying us as a commission, because we feel that there is some kind of like laxity or weaknesses from the production side, because we have other regulators that are there, like the Department of Health, the National Regulator for Compulsory Specifications, that are supposed to ensure that in the food production itself, in that assembly line or the production line, that suppliers make sure that quality is upheld at all the times. And then again, also before they even hit the shelf, they should be sampled, random sample testing, and then keeping those samples for a particular time, so that if maybe there's quality compromises, they have to inform the regulators before they even hit the shelves. But in this case, what we are seeing, especially in the beginning of this year, is that actually from late the last quarter of last year, we've seen that happening, and it is worrying us.
Right.
And we think that as government, it's now to look internally and say, what is it that are we doing around the issue of food safety, especially having a central regulator that looks at the process from the beginning until the end, until we get the food to the consumers.
As a matter of warning, because you did mention a good point around consumers confusing the glass perhaps for frozen ice, as a matter of warning, what could be the possible consequences here for suppliers should a consumer have consumed glass and perhaps even confuse it for ice? What could be the possibility or the potential consequences here in danger?
That would mean that your internal organs, especially if you would swallow glass and so on, that would cause internal bleeding. But then the reason why we are warning consumers as quick as possible is that it is very difficult to have that causal link if there is harm on the side of the consumer. So the reason that we're doing that is that when you have that product, you have consumed it, and you present with symptoms like internal bleeding, and wherein somebody will be like saying, hey, in your throat or your esophagus or maybe in your stomach, stomach, this is what I'm seeing. And the person could be able to link that to something that they have eaten, because the supplier is responsible in terms of harm that emanates from the consumption or the use of their product. And then in this case, they would issue a certificate as a commission if that harm has arisen. But then that issue of now that civil claim that the consumer has to prove, it becomes minimized, because we'll just give you the certificate and then the court of law will determine the quantum in terms of the harm.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave it there, and I appreciate you speaking to us. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Thezi Mabuza from the National Consumer Commission. Once again, if you have purchased any McCain sliced beans or Spar Stir Fry products, please return them to the point of purchase, because according to suppliers of both products, small fragments of glass were found in those products. So please, if you have purchased or are in possession of McCain sliced beans or Spar Stir Fry, return them to the point of purchase. All right.